on, y'all? Welcome back. It's Ars. Let's get productive. So today we're gonna be talking about lo-fi music. Now, I really like lo-fi music. I just like the vibe and the energy that it puts me in. Typically, you would associate lo-fi music with that kind of retro sounding, boom bap hip hop, very chill vibes. That's usually what people are talking about when they're talking about lo-fi music. Lo-fi in general means low fidelity, so that means low quality, and it's taking that old retro, tape saturated, warped kind of bad quality sound and saturating it into your beats to kind of give it texture and make it sound very warm and very chill and very laid back. That's typically what people are referring to when they say lo-fi music. And so today what I wanted to do was something a little bit different. I wanted to talk about 3 plugins today that I've been using that's been helping me make some really great lo-fi beats. Now, you can use these plugins for anything. They're made primarily for lo-fi beats, but like I'm gonna show you guys in a second, I've been using them for everything from R&B beats to hip hop beats. You can use it for everything. And so the 3 plugins that I wanna talk about today is Mood Guitars, Fi Panda 3, which is fire. I can't wait to get into that one, and Cozy. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. 3 lo-fi plugins that you guys should definitely check out. Let's see what these plugins are all about. So as always, I have Logic queued up, and like we discussed, I'm gonna just go over 3 lo-fi plugins that I'm really enjoying right now. The first one is Fi Panda 3. Now, obviously this is the 3rd version of it. I didn't check out the other 2 versions, but this one I'm actually extremely shocked at how good it actually is. I gotta be honest, when I first saw the ads for it and everything, it looked a little gimmicky with the little cartoon panda and, you know, it being a lo-fi plugin. I felt like it was a little too on the nose with the kind of anime style artwork on it. I don't know. It just felt a little cheesy to me when I saw the ads for it, but I'm not gonna lie, as soon as I checked out this thing, I immediately regretted all of the negative thoughts that I might have had about it, because this thing is full of amazing sounds. It has drums in it, it has pads in it, it has loads of categories of different instruments. You can check right up here and you can see all of these different categories of different instruments. You have everything from bass, brass, you have a drums category. So you don't even have to go outside of the plugin to find drums. This thing comes with lo-fi drums already loaded up in it. You have electric pianos, you have experimental ambiance, keys, pads, pianos, pitch percussion, pluck, strings, synths, woodwinds. Loads of sound inside of this thing, not to mention you can kind of layer your own sounds and create your own sounds and then save them as your own presets. So that's really dope as well. But I love what you can do with this thing. Now, you also have an effects section right here. You have a delay, reverb, flutter, degrader, LFO modulator. You also have your filter sections right here where you can kind of mess around with the high pass and low pass filters. But you have your ADSR envelope section for the different layers. You have an EQ section for each of the layers. And like I said, you can go through the instruments, layer them up how you want, and create your own sound and save them as presets. But before I go through the sounds really quickly, I just want to play you guys a beat I made using Fi Panda so you can see that just because it's geared primarily towards lo-fi music, you can make R&B music, you can make whatever you want. This beat that I made isn't a lo-fi beat per se, it's more so an R&B beat. But let's just check this thing out really quickly and see what it's sounding like. And yeah, so that's the beat that I made using Fi Panda. And like I said, this thing has a lot going for it in terms of sounds. You have keys. Let me just play a few of the keys really quickly. You have pad instruments. Really, really dope stuff. You have strings, and in the string section, you have everything from vintage violins to harps to guitars. I'll play some guitars for you really quickly. And I'm not gonna go through every single sound inside of this thing, but it has over 300 different presets, and you can layer your own sounds to create your own sounds. This thing is loaded with everything you can need to make a lo-fi beat, but also all kinds of different things you can use to just make really dope beats in general. So Fi Panda 3 was definitely a shocker, and I'm glad I got my hands on that. Now I wanna bring you over to another lo-fi plugin that I recently got my hands on. It's pretty dope. It's called Boutique Mood Guitars. Now, this one is exactly what it sounds like. It's all about the guitars. And in lo-fi music, some really warm, vintage sounding live guitars can always take you a long way in just helping you get a real euphoric and warm sound to your beats. Mood Guitars definitely does that. You have 11 different guitar presets, and each one of the presets have 3 different recorded guitar styles. So you have a clean version, a moody version, and a moody version 2 of each guitar. So this preset is the BMG Fender bass harmonics, and if I was to play this one, I'm gonna just go through the 3 different styles for this preset in particular. That's the clean version. This is the moody version. And this is moody version 2. And as you can hear in that moody version 2, that sound alone would just sound so euphoric in any lo-fi, any chill beat. But over here on the side, you have these extra effects and these extra settings that you can play around with to take your sound to another level. So you can play around with the reverb, and you have 3 different reverb settings, and you have 3 different reverb presets right here that you can play around with. And you have your mix knob down here at the bottom. You have Cathedral, which sounds crazy. And you have Intimate. Right up here at the top, you have your width section, and you can play around with the width of your sound. You have your EQ profile, so you have a normal one, an exciting one, and a moody one. And this is the normal one. You have your envelope section right here, so you could take that guitar and kind of make it sound like a pad just by changing the attack on it a little bit. But yeah, that sound is super dope. You have these layers here. So for each of these guitars, you have 4 layers on top of the 3 different guitar versions. So for example, this moody guitar right here, you have a guitar layer, and you can adjust the volume of that guitar. You have a pad layer. You have a dust layer. And you have a tape layer. You can play around with that. You also have a tape delay right down here. You have your mix knob for that tape delay, and you have a tape cassette saturator. Really cool stuff. But like I said, this guitar is really euphoric sounding and it works really well with lo-fi beats. But again, you can use this guitar on any type of beat you're making. It's just a dope sounding guitar. Now let me play you this beat that I made using this instrument really quick. So yeah, that's the beat I made using Mood guitars. And now the last VST that I want to talk about with you guys is a dedicated drum plugin. It's called Cozy and it's by UJam. Really, really dope instrument. And we're going to check it out right now. Now, there's a lot of things you can do with this instrument, and anyone who's used any of UJam's instruments, specifically their Beatmaker series, you already know that these plugins are made to really allow you to dive deep and get really hands-on with all of the different ways you can manipulate your sound. You know, these things come with a bunch of different kits of lo-fi-esque drums. You could go through the different kits and you have 2 different sections on how you can go about playing the drums in these different kits. Now you have your instrument section over here, and that's going to allow you to play them as one shots. And then you have your style section here. Now the style section is broken up into a few different sections. So you have intros, and that's going to have drum loops already pre-made for you that tempo sync with whatever the BPM in your session is. You have fills. You have endings. And you have breakdowns. And you can switch back and forth between all of those different sections and play around with the different loops. But like I said, you can also play them as one shots and play whatever drum pattern you want. Over here, you have a few different effects that you can move between. So you have beat intensity, your beat amount. You have a nostalgia knob right here that's going to play around with the texture of your drums. And you can kind of degrade that sound and get super lo-fi, or you can brighten it up. You also have some effects down here at the bottom in your master section. You have saturation. You have maximize, you have ambiance. And you have sweep. You can go through a bunch of different styles over here in the style section, so you can play around with a bunch of different drum loops in the style section. And you can go up top here and you can go to your factory presets and go through a bunch of different drum presets. Now, as you can hear, a lot of these drums are playing pretty fast, you know, because of the tempo, but you can go over here to micro timing and you can half time these drums and get a really slow, really chill kind of vibe. Right over here, go to half. You can humanize it a little bit by turning the humanize percentage up. And that's going to make the swing on your drums a little bit offbeat, so it has more of a human feel to it. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do with this plugin, but it's loaded with a bunch of different lo-fi presets. And like I said, you can play them all as one shots if you want. But this is a really cool plugin to play around with to just get you some really dope drum loops. I use it mainly for the loops that's inside of it. A lot of times I'll record the drum loops that come pre-made in this thing and bounce it out as a wave, and then just start to manipulate the wave a little bit to make it have a different kind of movement to fall in line with whatever track that I'm creating. But it's a really cool drum plugin. So yeah, let's check out the beat that I made using this drum plugin really quickly. But yeah, that's it. Those are 3 different lo-fi dedicated plugins that I've been using lately that I think you guys should really check out. Part of the reason that I wanted to do this video, it's a little bit different than some of the other review videos that I do. I usually do one plugin at a time, but I feel like when I was using these plugins, they're cool on their own, but I've noticed that I've been using them together. And I just felt like if you use these plugins together, there's a lot more value in it as opposed to just using each of them as one-offs. Like I said, you could use the Fi Panda plugin, Fi Panda 3, and it comes loaded with a bunch of different sounds. So if you had to pick just one plugin to use over all of the plugins, I would go with Fi Panda 3 just because there's so much inside of it. It comes with drums, it comes with a whole bunch of different things. But I personally been using all 3 of these plugins together, and I've been getting some really interesting beats out of it. Using Cozy for the drums, using Fi Panda mainly for the keys and the pads, and then throw in the guitars from Mood Guitars on top of all of that. These 3 plugins together, Mood Guitars, Fi Panda 3, and Cozy, sound amazing together. And you can get some really dope sounding beats. But let me know what you guys think. Do you already have any of these plugins? Do these plugins sound like something you can see yourself adding to your arsenal? As always, if there's any new plugins you'd like to see me review on this channel, leave it down in the comment section below, and I will check it out as soon as I can. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you can stay notified anytime I drop a new video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.